Hi friends, this lesson is all about the interview question on the Duolingo English test. Now, this question is actually ungraded, but it's still really important because your university can view your answer. On the test, it looks like this. Like I said, this is ungraded, but it's still really important. Actually, this question is really similar to the other speaking question, the one that is graded. If you haven't watched my videos on that question yet, I recommend you do so. There is a link below in the description. Now, it's important because your university can watch your video sample. So this allows your university to get an idea of your speaking level and also your personality. So of course, it's a really important part of this Duolingo test. In this video, we're going to look at the key points of this question type. Then I'll give you some tips, and at the end, I'm going to show you a sample interview question with one sample answer. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Alright, before we jump into the video, I just want to say that if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Teacher Luke from DETready.com. Visit our website because we have lots of information about the Duolingo English test, we have some online courses to help you, and we have a practice platform where you can practice all of the different question types on the Duolingo English test and check your answers immediately. I think that's really helpful. Alright then, well let's get started with the key points of this interview question on the Duolingo test. So the key points. You have to read a prompt and then speak at length about it. Now, how this differs from the other speaking question is that you actually get to choose. You will be given two options, so two prompts, and you get to choose one. When you take the test, it looks like this. So that's one difference that's important between this speaking interview and the other speaking question, is that you actually get to choose which question you want to answer. You're given two and you get to choose one. And you have 30 seconds to read both prompts, choose one, and then also mentally prepare before you begin speaking. 30 seconds is quite short, but still, it's something. The other question type, you only get 20 seconds to think and prepare. Okay, let's check the other key points. So like I just said, yeah, you get 30 seconds to choose and prepare. And luckily, you can see the question as you're speaking. Okay, so your job then, as you can see in the instructions, is to speak for 1 to 3 minutes about the topic. And you should keep talking until the next button turns orange. Alright, so that's important to know. You get between 1 and 3 minutes to speak about the topic. After 1 minute, the next button turns orange. You can click that to go to the next question. You don't really need to speak for the whole 3 minutes. This is an ungraded question, so you're not going to get scored on that. But remember that your university, the one you're applying to, will be able to see your response. So just speak for more than 1 minute, and then if you need to, if you still have more to talk about, you can speak for longer. But it's not a requirement. Okay, there are a few more key points to look at. So you only get this question type once on the test. And like I mentioned, it is ungraded. Your overall score won't be affected by your answer to this question type, but the university you're applying to can view the recording, so it is important. Okay, so those were the key points done. It's important to know all of these before you begin your test. Now let's think about what to say or how to actually answer the questions. Remember, this is ungraded, so the purpose of this type of question is for you to show off to your university. You can show them how good your English is and all of your positive features of your personality. So the way you answer might be quite different than in the other speaking questions. So let's take a look at how to answer this question now. Okay, so it's important that you answer all of the questions in the prompt. If you look at this sample, the one I got when I did the practice test, there are actually 3 different questions within this prompt. So I strongly suggest you answer all of them, and you talk in detail about each question. The purpose is to show the university you're applying to, your English level, and also your personality. So when you're answering, I suggest that you try to use examples from your life. This will make your response much more personable and probably show your personality more. It's important to elaborate and develop your ideas, just like in the other speaking questions. So when you answer one question, don't just answer it basically, add a reason or add an example. Anything to develop your idea further. And talk about yourself. It's okay to talk about yourself here since this is an interview. The university, I think, want to learn about you, so it's a really good opportunity for you to talk about yourself. Alright, so those were some basic tips on how to answer. Remember to talk about yourself, elaborate, and develop your ideas further than normal, just like in a real interview. Okay, now let's do a practice. I've prepared a practice question here. I'll put it on the screen for about 1 minute, but if you want more time, just pause the video and keep speaking. After 1 minute is up, I'll show you a sample answer. I strongly recommend that you actually do speak out during this time because it will be great practice for you. And remember, on the real test, you get up to 3 minutes, so after 1 minute, if you're still talking, just pause the video. Okay, then I'll show it for 1 minute and then I'll show you a sample answer. Okay, so this is the question. Describe an important decision you have made. Why did you make that decision? What was the result? And here's a sample answer. One difficult decision I've had to make a few times in my life is which city to live in next. It's a particularly difficult decision because it affects everything from friends to family to finances and social life. The most difficult one of all was deciding to move out of my home country. One year, I decided to make a big change and move abroad to South Korea. I didn't speak the language, but I was ready for a new challenge and to experience a very different way of life. In the end, it wasn't always easy to get by, but I was very glad to get out of my comfort zone, make new friends, and broaden my horizons. Moving to South Korea helped me to gain confidence because I was in a totally new environment, but surprisingly to me, I managed to thrive. I met so many amazing people, many of whom I'm still in touch with today, and most of all, it gave me confidence to be more adventurous in my life. And I think that's the main result of my decision to move to South Korea. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to study more with me, I recommend you watch this video here or this one here next. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.